Okay, our next topic is the forest types of India. That is, whatever the different types of the forest which are found in India, we should study them in detail and which type of vegetation is actually found there. That too we have to study. And according to that, we have to classify the different types of the forest which are found in the India. As you know, the forests play a very important role in maintaining the ecosystem of the Mother Earth. Now, on the Mother Earth, the forests are the only type of the structures which can maximally produce the carbon in the form of food energy, and at the same time, it can absorb the CO2 and maintain the healthy level of O2 within the environment. And hence, it is very important for the rest of the heterotrophic life, including the human beings. And that is why the forests are of paramount importance, and their study is also holding an high importance regarding the UPSC main syllabus. So, here we are dealing with the fifth chapter, that is ecology and the plant geography, and in that series we are taking this 10th lecture. Okay, now consider this is your syllabus. We are dealing with the paper number 2 and the chapter number 5, that is ecology and plant geography, and we are here at the forest types of India. Rest of the topics we have already covered. Okay, the maximum of them are the members only videos, so please check out the membership levels which are given on the channel. All right, now consider the first introductory slide. See, the total plant life which is growing naturally in the area is called forest or the natural vegetation. So whatever the plant life, okay, if you consider all of the plant life which is growing naturally in any area, for example, this particular area is holding much of the plant life, and this plant life shows some similarity with each other. Okay, so this whole area is considered as a natural vegetation or the forest. Okay, it will all depend on the environmental factors that how this particular forest is going to create, because majority of the time the abiotic factor play a major role in creating and not creating the forest in anywhere throughout the world. Not only in the India, throughout the world, the abiotic factors are actually controlling which type of forest is going to create in that particular place. Abiotic factors such as the temperature, then the humidity, then we have water availability, then we have the different types of the pressures which are there in the environment, right? And for fifth one, you can consider for the soil, right? So all of these important abiotic factor play an important role in creating the specific type of the forest, and according to these abiotic component, the forest types are decided in a particular region. So basically, according to the abiotic factor, a group of plants which are growing naturally together, they can be considered as a forest or the natural vegetation. Now, this is influenced by the various ecological factors, as we have discussed, such as the temperature, then the rainforms, and the soil. All of these are the abiotic factors, and these abiotic factors are primarily deciding that which type of forest is going to create in any particular area. Now, if it is all depend on the abiotic factors, and that is why we find the different types of forest in the different areas. Now, in India itself, we have 5 to 6 different types of the forest, because in India, throughout the India, if you go, you will come to know that the different types of the temperatures are there, different types of the rainfall is there, different landforms are there, and different types of soil is found in the different types of the region in the India. So that is why we have some different types of the forest throughout the India. Okay, now see, the Indian forest is are about 19.26% of its total Indian areas. Okay, now this number keeps changing. Okay, you can take the for this number you can take the reference of a Forest Survey of India's biannual report. Okay, every 2 years the Forest Survey of India produce one forest report, and according to that report, the whole total surface area of the India which is occupied by the forest is given. Okay, so here we are using the 19.26% of the India's total area is occupied by the forest, which is given by the Indian Forest Report. Now they perform an important role of making the healthy environment and reduce the air pollution. As you know, we have already discussed that maximum plants if present at a one place, they can maximally absorb the CO2. Whatever the air pollutants are there, these air pollutants are also stopped or absorbed by the plants. Then whatever the water pollution is there, this water pollution is also clean up by the plants. So major different types of the pollutions are controlled by the forest. Then the CO2 to O2 ratio is typically maintained by the forest, and hence they become ecologically very important from the human point of view, or you can say for the rest of the heterotrophic life, the forests are very important. Then consider the word, this word forest is the Latin word It is coming from the Latin word called as the foris. Okay, now foris literally means the outside. Okay, the one which located outside, it considered as a forest. So forest is typically a Latin word. You have to remember this. This Latin word is the forest, and forest is nothing but the one which presents outside. Okay, generally the if there is a house, generally the forests are present outside. Okay, generally we take the homes in plain areas, and the forest area is left behind, and hence they can be considered as a outside areas. And hence from this forest word, the forest is created, which literally means the outside area. Now India is the vast country and having the various types of the natural environment, and it is based on the natural vegetation that can be divided into the five major types. So depending, when you talk about the India country have the five to six different types of the forest, if you can subdivide the forest. But majorly there are the five types of the forest which is found in the India. Okay, and why different types of the forest found in the India, these two we have to discuss in this particular video. Now see, the very first is the evergreen forest. Okay, this the evergreen type of forest are found in the India. Then there are the deciduous monsoon forest, mangrove forest, desert vegetation type of forest, and alpine forest of the Himalayas are the five different types of the forest which are found in the India. Now all of these forests can be subdivided into the different headings. Okay, but for that we will take the some detailed video some another day. But here you have to understand the introductory part regarding the forest types of the India. Okay, what are the different types of the forest located in the India? Which types of the plants are present in these forest? This only we have to discuss. Okay, so the evergreen forest, deciduous monsoon forest, mangrove forest, desert vegetation, and the alpine forest of the Himalaya are the five major types of the forest which are found in the India. Now, why so many different types of the forest found in the India? Okay, this is the basic question, and you should have understanding regarding that, because UPSC can twist this question. Okay, they can ask this question in a very different way, that why in the North India we found the different types of the forest when it compared with that of the South India. Okay, and why it is happening? This is because we have talked about this, that the abiotic factor play a very major role. As you know, the Tropic of Cancer is rightly going exactly from the middle of the India. Okay, see this portion right from here, exactly from the middle of the India, this particular Tropic of Cancer is going. Okay, and as you know, if you are studying the geography, you know the whatever the area which is coming below the Tropic of Cancer, it considered as a tropical area. Okay, this is the tropical area, and above the Tropic of Cancer, we have the temperate area. Okay, so that is why India is called as the subtropical country. Okay, now majority of the time, throughout the world, if you consider the countries, majority of them either the temperate countries or they are the tropical countries. Okay, this is not true for the many countries, that it is exactly divided between its geographical area, and the upper portion is coming into the temperate region and the lower portion is coming within the tropical region. Okay, but India in that regard is a different thing, and in India you will find there is a exactly from the middle there is going the Tropic of Cancer, and below we have the tropical area, and above we have the temperate area. Now you can understand why there is a so much cold in the northern India, and then that much cold is not found in the southern India, because southern India is the tropical area, while the northern India is the temperate area. Okay, now tropical, this literally means the more amount of sunlight is there. Okay, that literally means the heat and the temperature is more within the South India when it compared with the North India. Okay, in the North India you will not have the direct sunlight, and due to the indirect sunlight, the low temperature remains within the North India. Okay, and that is why we have the Himalayas and the Kashmir region, and the various types of the low temperature area are located within the northern India, while the high temperature areas are always within the southern part of the India. This is because the sunlight is directly penetrating the South India, while the indirect sunlight is received by the temperate region of the North India, and hence there is a complete difference in the vegetation, or you can say in the forest of the North India and the South India. So the very basic why India has so many different types of the forest is its geographical location. Okay, where India is geographically located on the Mother Earth, because the Tropic of Cancer exactly dividing the India into the two parts, temperate and the tropical. The tropical on the one hand having the high temperature, direct sunlight, and heavy photosynthesis is there, and that is why evergreen type of the forest are found below the Tropic of Cancer, and above it we have the indirect sunlight, and hence the grassland type of the areas are got created in the northern India. Okay, then in the northern India also we have some different types of the forest, subtypes of the forest, depending upon again there is a variation between the temperature and the rainfall in the northern India itself. Okay, so here you should understand, in the southern India you will find the different types of forest, and in the northern India you will find the different types of the forest. Why? Because of its geographical location. Okay, now consider the evergreen forest. Okay, the very first type of the forest is the evergreen forest. Now in India, the evergreen forests are found in the regions which are not more than 900 mts above the sea level and receives the annual rainfall of more than 250 centimeter. So any evergreen forest requires the two criteria. Okay, it's above the sea level of the 900 mts, and it is receiving the 250 centimeters of the rainfall every year. Okay, so basically these are two requirements. If fulfilled, the creation of the natural evergreen forest is there. Now we always talk about the abiotic factor. For example, here the rainfall is play the major role. Now rainfall, if it is going above the 250 centimeters, then there will be the creation of the evergreen forest. Now this word evergreen literally means this forest are going to be remain evergreen throughout the year. Okay, if you observe any time within the year, you will come to know that these forests are evergreen. Okay, they will never shed their leaves. They are always evergreen. They will receive the maximum rainfall. They can photosynthesize. They have the direct sunlight, and due to this all these qualities, these forests always remain the evergreen. Okay, so basically here when we talk about the evergreen forest, these forests are found in the region where there is a more of the water availability, or you can say the optimum availability of water is there. Now this type of forest were found in the western ghats. Okay, this is the western ghat, and this western ghat harbors the evergreen forest. Then the northeastern states of the Assam. Okay, here in the northeastern states of the Assam, then the Meghalaya, Tripura, Nagaland, and Andaman Nicobar Iceland, all of these are harboring these particular evergreen forest, because the right appropriate kind of the rainfall is there, and in this rainfall the plants can maintain their body throughout the year, and they don't have to shade their leaves, and that is why they always look evergreen. Okay, they always see as a green, and that is why they are rightfully described as a evergreen forest. So the area which is occupied by the evergreen forest within the India is the western ghats, then the northeastern states. Okay, and after that the Andaman Nicobar is also the example for the evergreen forest. Okay, now since the trees are always green, hence they are called as the evergreen forest. So basically here the evergreen forest are those areas where there is a forest which remains evergreen throughout the year, and it is receiving to 50 centimeters of the rainfall. Hence the right abiotic conditions are there for the abiotic forest, and sorry, for the evergreen forest. And the western ghats, then the northeast states, while the Andaman Nicobar are the typical examples for the evergreen forest. Now, then this particular evergreen forest is characterized by the tall and the straight evergreen trees. Okay, if you go to the evergreen forest, you will find the very tall trees. Okay, these are very tall trees, and they, of course, they are evergreen trees, and that have the buttressed trunk or the root on the three sides of the tripod that helps them to keep a tree upright during the storm. Okay, now they were having the special type of the root system. This special type of the root system is called as the buttress type of the root system, and this particular buttress type of the root system which is spreading like the tripod in all three directions, hence they were able to remain stand still during the storms. Okay, so basically the abiotic, for the abiotic factors, they have adapted to the storms, they are adapted to the heavy rainfall, and hence they can stand upright throughout the year. Okay, now these trees are often rise to the great height before they open out to create the conipi. Okay, if you go to the evergreen forest, you will always find there are the many trees which are touching the sky, and these particular trees which are evergreen and having the large heights at the top. Okay, at the very top of it they will create the conipi. They will rightly open out at the top, because in order to get the maximum sunlight for the process of photosynthesis. Okay, so this is there is a kind of a competition between the every species which is present within the evergreen forest in order to capture the maximum of sunlight. Okay, whatever the sunlight is coming, the every plant tries to capture the sunlight, and in that race the plants are used to take the huge height, and due to this height they are having the very strong trunk, and after that they spread rapidly at the apex to form the conipi. Now this conipi will help them to absorb the maximum amount of sunlight when it compared with that of the other plant, and hence this is the very basic reason why in the evergreen forest you will find the very tall and the straight trees. Okay, you should understand the ecology of these forests, that why tropical evergreen forests are showing the presence of the tall trees. This is because of the competition between the plant species. These plant species are having the competition with each other to take the maximum sunlight, and hence they were having the long trunk and the conifer at the apex of it. Okay, this is the basic reason why these are special kinds of the trees were found within the evergreen forest. Now, the subtype of the tropical evergreen forest is the semi-evergreen forest. Okay, some portion of it is considered as a semi-evergreen forest because they were present exactly along with the evergreen forest, but sometimes they shed their leaves as well. Some portion of the plant also shed their leaves. Okay, now they were also found in the western region, Andaman Nicobar region, and the eastern Himalayas. Okay, so because whether it is a semi-evergreen forest or the evergreen forest, they lie together, but what is the basic difference is just like that some of the plants were acting as a deciduous trees. Okay, this is the only difference between the evergreen forest and the semi-evergreen forest, that some of the plant species are there within the semi-evergreen forest. You will find there is a loss of the leaves during some portion of the year. Now such a forest is a mixture of the wet evergreen forest, which is the evergreen forest, right, and the moist deciduous trees. Some of the moist deciduous trees presence is there, and these moist deciduous trees can actually shed their leaves for some time in the year. Okay, and that is why, due to the presence of some of these moist deciduous trees, some portion of the evergreen forest or the wet evergreen forest is considered as a semi-evergreen forest. Now the forest is a dense and it is filled with a large variety of trees of both the types. Okay, so both the types of the trees are there. Wet evergreen types of the trees are there, and the moist deciduous types of the trees are there. And if you find the both the combination of the trees, then you can characterize that particular forest as a semi-evergreen forest. And if you find only the evergreen trees, this can be considered as a evergreen forest or the wet evergreen forest. Okay, so you should carefully remember what is the difference between the evergreen forest and the semi-evergreen forest. In the semi-evergreen forest, you will find some of the moist deciduous trees. Okay, some moist deciduous trees presence is there, and these trees or the moist deciduous trees are creating the subtype within the evergreen forest, and we are naming them as a semi-evergreen forest. Okay, now consider the second one, that is the deciduous monsoon forest. Now as we say deciduous literally means these plants are going to shed their leaves for the some part of the year. Okay, now see, this type of the forest are most likely widely distributed in the India. Okay, because majority of the environment which is present in the India is supportive for the deciduous forest. Okay, that is the evergreen type of the abiotic conditions are not found throughout the India. Actually majority part of the India is covered with the deciduous monsoon forest. Okay, these deciduous plants are actually shedding their leaves for the some period throughout the year, and this type of the forest are spread throughout the India. Now they have seen in the areas receiving the 75 to 250 centimeters of the rainfall. You know, about the 250 centimeters of the rainfall we have the evergreen forest, and from 75 to 250 centimeters rainfall is there. In such a condition, we say there is a creation of the deciduous monsoon forest. Now these are 75 to 250 centimeter for rainfall receiving areas are present maximally throughout the India, and that is why we find the maximum of this particular forest throughout the India. Okay, so the very basic reason why the deciduous forest are more occupying more area within the India, it's because of its rainfall. Okay, whatever the normal rainfall India receives, the majority of the area receives the 75 to the 250 centimeter of the rainfall, and that is why we have the deciduous type of the monsoon forest maximally present within the India. Okay, this can be asked by the UPSC as well. UPSC can ask you why majority of the time you will find in the India there is a presence of the deciduous forest, and the very basic abiotic factor which is responsible for that is the rainfall. Okay, what the rainfall play a major role in creating this forest, and if it is above the 250 centimeter, the evergreen forest is going to create, and if it is in between the 75 to 250 centimeter, it is going to create the deciduous monsoon forest. And this condition found throughout the India of the rainfall, and hence we have the deciduous forest widely distributed in the India. Now it forms about 65.5% of the total area of the forest. Okay, that is the maximum area of forest is occupied by the deciduous forest. Since India is mainly a monsoon climate, this type of the forest is distributed widely. The very basic reason is the monsoon climate. Now the trees shed their leaves during the dry winters, and hence they are also called as the deciduous monsoon forest. Okay, during the dry winters, they just shed their leaves because there is no appropriate abiotic condition for the growth and development during that time, and hence they like to shed off their particular leaves from their body so that they can survive this particular harsh period. And that is why these forests are typically comes under the deciduous monsoon forest. So you should understand you already know that deciduous type of the forest are maximally present in the India. But why? It is due to the presence of the particular type of the rainfall. Okay, this will be the important in discussing your answer in the mains. Okay, now in the month of the March or the April, they start to regain the fresh leaves. Okay, after the dry winter, what they do in the month of March and April, they will start to take up the fresh leaves. Okay, before the monsoon, and they will grow vigorously in response to the rains. Okay, once there is a completion of this summer season, in that particular period they will rapidly start to grow the fresh leaves, and after the rains they will grow vigorously, okay, till the winter again. So they were having the definite pattern of living according to the environmental changes. Okay, they will remain very dormant during the dry winters. Okay, till there is a starting or the midsummer, and from the midsummer they will start to grow the fresh leaves on their bodies, because plants ultimately know that they're going to be rain, and after the raining they can do the maximum photosynthesis, and the maximum photosynthesis literally means there will be the availability of a maximum food material for the plant itself, so that they can reproduce. Okay, so the maintaining the cycle of the winter, then the summer, and from summer to the rainy season is typically achieved throughout the India by these plants, and hence these deciduous forests are having some different kind of life cycle when it compared with that of the trees which are present in the evergreen forest. So with that respect, you should also judge what are the different types of the plants cycle is present within the deciduous forest, and you should compare this with that of the trees which are present in the evergreen forest. The whatever the life cycles are present in the deciduous forest and the rainforest, this will be the different things. Okay, these are two completely different things. There is a many difference between the deciduous trees life cycle and the trees which are present within the evergreen forest, because in the evergreen forest you will have the different rainfall, and there is a plenty availability of light as well, and due to this condition they can perform photosynthesis throughout the year, maximum photosynthesis. But this is not true for the deciduous forest. The amount of rainfall is limited in these areas, and hence plants have to adjust themselves with that of the abiotic factors, and hence there is a major difference between the deciduous forest and the evergreen forest. Okay, UPSC can ask you to differentiate between the deciduous forest and the evergreen forest. What are the different abiotic factors which are changing from deciduous forest to evergreen forest, and they can also ask you that what are the different patterns of the life cycle between the plants of the deciduous forest and to that of the evergreen tree forest. Okay, so thus there are the periods of the leaf fall and the conpi growth. So basically in the one time of the year there is a leaf fall, and in the other part of the year you will have the conpi growth. So here the leaf fall is the characteristic feature of the deciduous forest, and after the leaf fall and there is a creation of the conpi. This is the natural cycle possessed by these particular deciduous forest, and they have adjusted this particular kind of the techniques according to the abiotic factors which are present within the environment. Now see, these forests are frequently has the thick undergrowth as light penetrate easily onto the forest floor. Okay, so generally undergrowth, they were having the very thick undergrowth, and actually you will find the middle sized plants here, because the light can penetrate easily onto the forest floor. This is also the major difference between the evergreen forest and the deciduous forest. In the evergreen forest you will not see that the light is penetrating rightly to the floor of the forest, but in the deciduous forest you will come to know in this particular forest the lights are directly reaching towards the floor of the earth, and hence the shrubby types of the plants or the small plants can grow here, because the light availability is there right to the floor of the forest. But in the evergreen forest you will always find the long trees, okay, long height trees, huge trees. Why? Because at the floor level you will not find any light, and there cannot be possibility of photosynthesis. So that is why growing higher and higher and creating conpi at the top, this is the basic strategy which is adopted by the forest trees which are present in the evergreen forest. But this type of adaptation is not required in the deciduous forest. Why? Because lights can directly penetrate to the floor level, and hence the shrubby type of plants can also be present there. The average height plants, okay, the plants which are not showing that much height is also present within the deciduous forest. So deciduous forest has this characteristic feature of a medium sized trees, while in the evergreen forest you will find the very tall trees. Okay, and why? Because of the sunlight. The second abiotic factor which is playing a very important role here is the light. Okay, the very first abiotic factor was the rainwater. Okay, rainwater has differentiated firstly the tropical evergreen forest and the deciduous forest, and then secondly we know why there is a medium sized trees within the deciduous forest and tall trees within the evergreen forest is because of the light. Light is directly penetrating to the forest floor in the deciduous forest, and it is not reaching to the floor in the evergreen forest, and hence we have the differences in the height between the plants. Okay, now see, the fourth one is the mangrove forest, and you know we have discussed many times mangrove before, right? The mangrove forest are those forests which are far near the coastal areas, okay, where there is a tides. Okay, due to the tides they create the mangrove forest, and there are the special plant species which are present within these particular mangrove forest, and they were having the special features like the nematophores. Okay, you know, this is the mangrove tree around the coastal area, and they were having the roots which are coming out of the ground. These roots are called as the nematophores. Okay, and they were having the very special kind of root system which is coming above the ground due to the presence of water, and this water is creating problem in the respiration within the plant, and hence they were having the exposed root system, and this exposed root system possesses the special types of the roots which are called as the nematophores, and they were specialized in special kind of the respiration, and this type of the roots were also help them to stand against the tides. Okay, because there is a regular stress of the tides on these particular plants or the mangrove plants. These mangrove plants, when they were present along the seashores, they were continuously pressurized by the tides. Okay, tides are continuously coming to their roots, and hence they were having the roots which are coming out of the ground, and they were spread around every diameter in the every possible direction of the plant body, and that is why they can hold themselves in such a saline condition. The very second stress which is present along with the tides is the presence of the salty water, and they were typically adapted to these salty waters. They have a special mechanism to filter out the salts from the water and absorb the clean water throughout their bodies. Okay, so these are types of the forest which are present in the India as well. These forests are present along the seashores. They were having the typical stresses of the tides and the salts. Now these mangrove forests are found along the deltas and the coastal regions and the estuaries of the river. Okay, where the two rivers are meeting, or if the rivers are meeting with the ocean, if there is a formation of the estuaries along that line, you will find the presence of the mangrove forest. Now that these were subjected to the continuous tides. Okay, now the river delta of the Ganga, then the Mahanadi, Godavari, and the Krishna, that have the this kind of the forest. Okay, now the Sundari trees are of plenty in the Ganga basin. Okay, this is the typical Indian name that is called as the Sundari tree. These Sundari trees are present maximally within the mangrove plants. Okay, so Sundari you will find along with the Ganga basin, and hence these forests are also called as the Sundarbans. Okay, you must have heard this word Sundarbans in relation with the Ganga or in relation with the West Bengal area. Okay, BR Bengal area, because where there is a flowing of the Ganga, and along the river shores you will find there is a presence of the Sundarbans. Okay, because of the presence of one mangrove plant species which is called as the Sundari. So Sundarbans are located in the Ganga basin, and the total area of this forest is only the 4.4 thousand square kilometers. Okay, so basically these are forests which are found in the India were found along the rivers. Okay, along the seashores, along the rivers, and these type of the forest are very limited. Okay, they are not present in a plenty amount, and due to their limited presence and their great ecological role, we should conserve them at a very first place. Okay, because these forests are very ecologically very sensitive forest, and due to their sensitivity, we should give the first priority to the mangrove forest conservation, because these mangroves are those forests which can avoid, or which can uh, mitigate the effect of the tides which is coming forcefully from the river or the ocean. Okay, and that is why they were playing the major role in the ecological sense, and they were also providing the habitat for the aquatic animals. Okay, many type of the aquatic animals including the amphibians take their home in these particular mangrove forest, and that is why they are of critical importance, although they are present within a very small quantity. Okay, their percentage of covering the area is very small, but ecologically they are very important, and that is why why the first preference should be given to the mangrove forest. Then in the fifth type, we have the desert forest as well in the India. Now, the some portion of the India will come under the desert, okay? And when we say desert, the first state came to you in our mind is the Rajasthan, okay? But actually, this Thar desert is spread to the other areas of the states as well. Now, see, this type of the vegetation is found in the region where there is a less than 50 centimeter of the rain, okay? Again, the rainwater, which is a major abiotic factor in deciding the vegetation in the any area, playing a major role in creating the deserts as well, because not much of the rainfall is received throughout the year, and that is why the desert is got created. Now, the third desert in the Rajasthan and in the adjoining area of Punjab, Haryana, and the Gujarat have this type of the forest, okay? These are desert type of the forest where there is a sandy soil, not much of the plant species or the plant vegetation grow there. Actually, very limited species are able to grow in such an area, and these species are mostly the thorny species, okay? Which having the thorny bodies, because in order to avoid the water loss through the transpiration process, they have reduced their leaves, and these leaves are getting converted into the thorns, okay? So that is why you will find the thorny plants throughout this desertic land, and these thorny adaptations will help the plant in two ways. The very first is the reduction in the water loss, and second, it will also avoid the herbivores from eating these particular plants, okay? So the desert type of the forest were found in the India in the regions of the Rajasthan, Punjab, and the Haryana and the Gujarat, and the plants which are present in these areas are deeply rooted plants. This is because the water availability, okay? There is a very less water availability within this area, and in a search of water, these plants have to dig their roots at a very large length throughout the soil, and that is why they were having the deep roots, okay? If you want to take out the desertic plant from the soil, it will be very hard because of its long deep roots. And why they were creating the long deep roots? It's because they want to absorb the water wherever it is present within the soil, and water is not present in enough quantity, and hence they have to create the much deeply rooted roots, okay? Now, they were consist mainly of a thorny shrubs, okay? And why thorny shrubs? Because they should reduce that water loss, because water is not available. Water is always a limiting factor. There is a high temperature, and in such a condition they have to maintain their body temperature. So they create the thorny shrubs, okay? Not much of the area of their body is exposed, and through these types of the bodies, they can avoid the herbivory, they can avoid the water waste, and they can also save themselves from the extreme heat which are present within these deserts, okay? So this is the fifth type of the desert which is found in the India, okay? So this is only the introductory portion of this type, that what are the different types of the forest in the India and why they are created at a first place, okay? The very detailed things we have to study about this, because in the UPSC means they can twist the question, and this is the twisting of question we have to understand carefully, and we should consider the subtopics relating with the forest types of the India as well. Sixth special type of the forest is the alpine forest of the Himalayas, okay? As you know, Himalaya is having the very special area in the Indian subcontinent, and you will find there is a very definite kind of a climate which is present in the Himalayan range, which is not found throughout the India. The rest of the India is different, and the Himalayan range is different because of the special type of the abiotic characters which are present there, such as the very low temperature is the characteristic feature of the Himalayan range. Plus, there are the mountains, okay? This is not the plain area, but the mountainous area, and hence, as we go above, the temperature starts to decline. Then there is a special availability of a sunlight in some region of these mountains, and some regions of these mountains will never get the sunlight. So all of these abiotic factors are deciding the very special kind of the forest within these particular areas. Now, see, as the height increases, the tropical type of the climate changes to the polar type of the climate. So literally, when we have the mountains, at the top of the mountains, you will have the climate just like the polar type of the climate which is present at the polar, okay, at the North Pole, at the South Pole. So if you go to the Himalayas, you can say this is an mini structure which can be found in the North Pole, at the South Pole, where there is a snow, where there is a low temperature, where there is a less availability of water, and then such a kind of the environment is very similar with that of the North Pole and the South Pole. So according to the changes in the climate, the various types of the plants were found. So whatever the mountainous area are there, these mountainous area is having the different kinds of plants. Below the mountain, if you go just down of the mountain, you will find the different kind of climate, and if you go, come to the plain, you will find different types of the plants, okay? So it will all depend on the height, that which type of plants we are going to see, because from height to height, the abiotic factors are going to change, and that is why the vegetation also changes. Now the important types of the trees which are growing in this type of the forest are the sal trees, bara trees, okay, tun, silver spruce, and the laurel types of the trees, where the typical type of the plants which are found throughout this particular Himalayan range. Then the coniferous forest is a characteristic of the Himalayan range, where there is a gymnospermous type of the plant, and these gymnosperms are creating the uniform type of the forest which are called as the coniferous forest. Okay, and why they were creating? Because the gymnosperms likes the low temperature, and this low temperature is present in this Himalayan range, and hence the development of a coniferous forest is there. And you should also remember which type of the common plants are present throughout this Himalayan range as well. So we came to know throughout this lecture that how the abiotic factor play a very major role in deciding the forest type. For example, in a desert there is a less availability of water, high temperature, the different kind of forest is there, while in the Himalayas the very low temperature and low amount of water create the something different like the coniferous type of the forest. And then we have the, on the one hand we have the evergreen forest which are having the plenty of light and the sun and the rainfall, and hence they were evergreen throughout the year. Then we have the second type of the uh, plants or the forest which are called as the deciduous forest, in which there is a leaf fall for the some part of the year, and this is a leaf fall occurs due to the non availability of water and dry seasons. Okay, and there is a huge difference between all of these forest types which are found in the India, because in the different regions of the India we have the different types of the climate. This is the very basic reason behind it why we are having the different types of forest in the India. Okay, so this is all about this topic. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video. Please like this video, share this video with your friends who are studying the botany, and if you haven't subscribed to the Botany Option channel yet, please subscribe to the Botany Option channel for UPSC examination. Again, thank you very much for giving your time. See you in the next video lecture. Thank you.